So back with an Orioles update. This is the 2025 season, and we are 54 games in, so a third of the way through the season. And the team, as you can see here, is at exactly 500, 27 and 27, 4.5 games out, underachieving the preseason predictions where we were projected for 90 some wins and to win the division. And so the story really has been the starting pitching has been bad, and we've had some injuries. So to go through it, here's the info. So started off 1-4 in March after winning opening day. We lost four straight, and then 16-12 in April, and then May started well, but then we've gone cold lately, and we're at 10-11 in May. As you can see here, the batting stats were pretty good. I mean, other than base running, and we don't walk a lot, but we're first in hits. We are fifth in the AL in runs scored, fourth in on base, third in slugging percentage, third in OPS. The offense has been solid. It's the starting pitching has just been atrocious. And so the starter's ERA is 14th in the AL at 5.44. The bullpen's at 3.52, third in the AL, 11th in the AL in runs allowed. And BABIP is 8th allowed, and my defensive metrics are rated 8th. So defense has been like middle of the road. So certainly that hasn't helped the starters, but man, the starters have been bad. A lot of it's been home runs. We're 14th in the AL in home runs, which I've run into in this year of this Out of the Park 21, more than previous versions with Camden Yards, just the amount of home runs my pitchers give up. Generally Camden Yards is thought of as a park where that happens more often than not, but it is crazy in this game. And I did adjust the offense again this season. I've kind of toyed with it, with how offensive I want the environment to be relative to current Major League. And because it just gets a little too crazy if you allow it to progress through the years as current Major League offense is progressing. Out of the Park assumes you're going to keep getting more and more offense. So last year I had the offensive environment be 2015 based off of the offensive environment in Major Leagues in 2015. And there wasn't quite enough offense, so I bumped it up to 2016 this year. So certainly where there was a bit more offense, certainly that could be part of it, but also part of it is my starting pitching just sucks right now. So, all right, let's get into it. Here's my hitters. Let's go ahead and rank this by runs created plus. Gio Urshela, man, he was hurt to start the year, and so of our 54 games, he's only played 22, but he's put up 1.6 WAR. His runs created plus is 215, so he's been 115% better than league average. He's a pending free agent. He's 33 years old, and he only wants a 7-year extension. So good luck, buddy. He's on pace for 4.8 WAR in 66 games, which over a full season would be about a 12 WAR season. He has 7 home runs in 97 plate appearances. And again, a 215 runs created plus, a 199 OPS plus. Now, his BABIP is 455. That's not going to continue. But he has just been on fire since he came back. So glad he is back. Second best hitter on the team is Nick Matan, who's also a natural third baseman. Now, Matan, as you can see, has played in 33 of the 54 games. If you remember, he was Rookie of the Year 2 years ago, and since then has really trailed off to where last year he was not even really a playable guy. He was on my bench and kind of stuck there, but I gave him another shot this year as a part-time player, and he's earning more and more playing time. A 135 runs created plus. He's put up 1 win in 33 games. He's playing several days a week right now, whether at second base, third base, DH. But I'm finding more and more ways to get his bat into the lineup because he's bouncing back to that guy he was 2 or 3 years ago when he was like a borderline MVP candidate. Edmund, my second baseman, has been awesome. He's also a free agent after the year. And he's young. He's about 3 years younger than Urshela, so a guy I'll consider re-signing more than I will Urshela. Jason Rosario is the center fielder that I got from the Padres in the offseason because he's like an all-star caliber center fielder and only 25. And he's been awesome. He's put up 1.6 WAR. He's on pace to put up 4.7 in 141 games. He's been 25% above league average with the bat. As you can see, his personality is not great. Bad work ethic, bad leadership. Not adaptable. He's greedy, and he did have an altercation in the clubhouse with my backup catcher because the backup catcher was basically sick of him loafing it. And so my options were to do nothing, suspend him for 5 games, or release Rosario. Obviously wasn't going to release him, but I decided to suspend him for 5 games because I think so the clubhouse wouldn't be like, what is this guy getting away with? But I knew that might be an issue bringing in a guy who has a personality that says, he's got a questionable work ethic. Well, I can't talk right now. But the bottom line is he's an all-star player and willing to put up with it to this point. So he's been good. Rhys Albert, of course, is a 2020 draft pick of mine who's been up and down a bit, but he got a lot of playing time at the beginning of the year because of injuries, and now he's pretty much in a platoon in right field. But he's on pace for 130 games and 3.4 WAR. His runs created plus is 118, so he's been 18% above league average with the bat. Really awesome season from him so far for a guy that this is his first shot as not an everyday player, but a MLB regular, and he's doing great. Trevor Larnick, of course, has been my DH the last several years and had a down year last year. He's bounced back a bit with a 113 runs created plus. He started really poorly. He's hot and cold, man. And 113 runs created plus, 13% above league average is solid, but for a guy who's pretty much just a DH, that's not good enough. He's not a great fielder. And so while he's going to remain my main DH, he's going to lose the bats to Matan and Urshela, as I need to find ways to get both of them in the lineup, considering both of their natural positions third base. So hopefully Larnack will catch fire. He has had a couple hot streaks, but 113, while good, is not good enough for a guy who's just a DH. Sandro Fabian is the other side of the platoon with Rhys Albert. So he mainly plays against lefties, but he got a lot of at-bats because of injuries to start the year, and he's been solid. 34 games, 107 runs created plus. That's fine. He's a bit of a fourth to fifth outfielder now, but he's playing a good bit. Adley Rutschman bouncing back from a poor offensive season last year. His defense is still stellar, but a 105 runs created plus. He was my best hitter for the first month. He hasn't had a great May, but it's been good enough. Gunnar Henderson, man. He was one of the worst hitters in baseball in April. Here, let me pull this up, the splits. Let's see, I think it's under basic. I can look at it. Yeah, so in April, he had 75 plate appearances, and, in March, he had a minus 19 OPS plus in 5 games. April, a 52 OPS plus, and then in May, he now has a 150 OPS plus. So he's really gone from one of the worst hitters in baseball through the end of May, through the end of April, and in May has been one of the best hitters in baseball, and his fielding's been solid. I still think he's a potential star for me, according to what my scout says, and also based off of how he ended last season and was in the playoffs. And now it's good to see him in May turning around because he was dreadful early in the year. Austin Hayes has only played 17 games because of injury, and he's gotten off to a slow start. I don't think his playing time isn't in question yet, but Fabian and Albert could, definitely push him for more at-bats. Because I have so much depth in offense, most guys are not going to play 155-plus games for me. I think 140, 145 is the most guys are going to play, with Rosario and Henderson maybe playing more than that. And then my backup catcher, Marchand, he's been fine. 90 runs created plus is pretty solid for a backup catcher. And, of course, he got into an argument with Rosario, and Rosario ended up making it physical in the locker room. And then here's the major dud, Ryan Mountcastle. He leads my team in plate appearances at 233, but that's going to change soon. He's at a nice, not very nice, 69 runs created plus. So he's been 31% below league average with the bat. Negative 0.4 WAR. This is a guy who's been a middle of the lineup bat for me the last 4 years. 120, 119. He's been anywhere from 15 to 30% above league average with the bat. Put up 5 WAR a couple of seasons ago. He has not had a streak like this before to start a season. Maybe he's done it in the middle of the season. I just didn't notice. I don't think so, though. He's been really bad. He's got a great track record, though. And so I'm going to try to be patient with him, but I'm thinking Urshela might play some first base and see how it works out. Maybe once or twice a week just to find a way to get Urshela and Matan more and more at bats. So Mountcastle has a great track record, and he's kind of a fixture on my team. So I'm certainly not going to cut bait with him after 54 bad games. But how much longer can you wait? 2 months is kind of the point where it's like, all right. So, anyways, and then Caden Grenier, he is my utility infielder. If you remember, him and Drew Bowser both made the team because of injuries, and Grenier was off to a solid start when I got healthy. Him and Bowser had performed pretty comparably, and since then he's kind of tanked. But he's a really good fielder, so not the end of the world. Bowser's down working on different positions in AAA, so Grenier, he's been atrocious with the bat this month, but he's a solid fielder. But he's going to get less and less playing time if he continues to be so bad with the bat. Then let's hop over to the pitching. Asa Lacy, hop in and look at him. So he's got a 4.06 ERA and a 3.78 FIP. Last year he had a 2.34 ERA and a 2.9 FIP. So he won the Cy Young in the Rookie of the Year last year. He has not been that good. He's been better lately. His last start was 8 shutout innings. 2 starts before that, 6 innings, 2 runs. But he's had a bunch of starts like this. You can see 5 innings, 4 runs, 5 innings, 5 runs. And it's been a little bit of everything. He's striking out. He's not striking out quite as many guys. He's walking a little bit more. He's walking guys a little bit more often. And he's giving up a few more home runs per 9. Not a few more per 9, but he's giving up a few more home runs so far this season. And so all that together is he's still on pace for 4.1 WAR, which is 2 WAR would be a solid average major league player. And once you get over 4, you're starting to push the brink of maybe being an all-star type guy. So he's still a very good starter, but he's not pitched to his elite standards that he set last year in his rookie year. Hopefully he can turn it around. He's had some great starts, but again, I said when I called him up that I was worried about the fly ball pitcher thing in Camden Yards, and it wasn't a big issue last year, but maybe that fly ball pitcher tendency is hurting him more in Camden Yards now that I bumped the offense up a little bit. So still a really good starter, but not the best pitcher in the league so far this year. Jack Flaherty hurt again, another arm issue. He went out with, what did he go out with? Oh, a sprained elbow. So second year in a row I've lost him to an elbow injury. He's got a bunch of elbow injuries here, none major, but over the course of the sim. And he was the best pitcher in baseball when I got him. And last year he was a little above league average. And then this year he would be on pace for over 2 WAR if he were to pitch a full season. But his ERA is almost 4.5. His FIP is 4.25. His strikeouts are way down this year. Hopefully that's just a small sample blip because his walks are also way down. Home runs are about where they were last year. He's got an opt-out in his contract or else he stays on for a few more years at $24 million. And, man, that trade has not worked out so far, but hopefully he can get back and be a stud for me here down the stretch. Luis Castillo and D.L. Hall both kind of still doing their thing of solid, really mid to back-end rotation arms. And D.L. Hall, Castillo's been a bit better than Hall. As you can see, Hall's FIP is 5.5. But he's, they're both in the rotation for now and fine. But I'm going to upgrade this rotation 100%, and we'll see where that leaves them. Luke Little is in the spot that Grayson Rodriguez started the season in as the 5th starter. Rodriguez was atrocious, and Little came up in the bullpen and was pitching well, so I put him in the rotation. He's pitched well so far. I got him from Seattle last July 2024. I had a bunch of outfield depth in AAA, so I traded a 25 or 26-year-old outfielder who was just ripping up AAA, and I didn't see as a major league prospect really. And I got Luke Little for him, so he's on pace to put up 2.2 WAR in 103 innings. He's ERA 3.9, FIP 3.47. He's striking out 12.8 guys per 9. Some of that is as a reliever, not all as a starter, but he's made the last 4 starts, and you can see struck out 10, 7, 7, 7, 7, and all those are in anywhere from 4 to 7 inning starts. We'll see what he can do. I don't think he'll maintain that long term. I think his ceiling looks like it's probably a back end of the rotation guy, maybe a bullpen guy, because he has a really great fastball, and his pitches play up a bit when he's out of the bullpen. But for now, he's my 5th starter. We'll see how that goes. In the bullpen, Hicks has been awesome, 1.29 ERA. Nick Anderson started terribly, but has turned around, done well. Durbin Feltman has been below average. He was one of the best relievers in baseball the last couple of years. Hopefully he'll turn around. Gilbo has been fine. Burrows, who with Gilbo were guys I brought in trades. He's been good. Owen Griffith was one of the guys who won one of my last bullpen spots out of spring training of guys who graduated from AAA, and he's been solid. And then these last 2 spots are kind of spots I use fresh arms in. Right now, Angel Vargas and Mitchell Stone are here. Stone was a high-round pick of somebody else a few years ago, and I traded for him. And he looks like he might be a back end of the rotation / long man as a ceiling, but we'll see. He could be better than that. Sorry, the air conditioner's running. My throat is dry. Drinking a lot of water here. So these 2 spots have been filled by a bunch of different guys, and I'll kind of run through that real quick. There are a couple things to cover on the 40-man. Livian Delgado, who is the number 11 prospect in baseball that I signed as a free agent out of Spain last year, and he's 23. I was planning on him pitching in AAA for a while, but with the injuries to my pitching staff, I had a few of them. I called him up, and he made 6 starts, and his ERA looks terrible. It was 7.36. And his FIP, while not good, was way lower at 5.44. He struck out 10.1 guys per nine. He just walked too many guys and a high BABIP. But I mean, in 3 starts in AAA, is a 0.95 ERA and a 1.57 FIP. I think he's still a stud. I think he's still going to be great for me. He'll be up again soon. He just was kind of struggling, and I called him up earlier than I wanted to begin with. So I think he'll come up some point in the season. If I bring up Delgado and he pitches well and trade for a starter, I think I'll be fine as starting pitcher. And Dylan Lawson was a guy who made my Major League Club, a draft pick of mine from 2021. And he was a guy who I sent down when I needed fresh arms. And I sent him down, and he's down for a few days, and he pitched in Norfolk, and he tore his rotator cuff. So he's out for another 4 months. Grayson Rodriguez was terrible for me. He finally got a shot in my rotation after being my long man for multiple seasons, and he opened the season in 14 innings, 8 games, 3 starts. He put up an 11.57 ERA, a FIP over 7.5. He'll come up. He'll be a fresh arm when I need one, but he did nothing to lock down that 5th spot. Miguel Tejada, top 100 prospect who will get time up this year. And Maldonado, Tice, these are just filler guys when I need fresh arms. Zabron was a guy who I was hoping would make a difference in my bullpen this year, but he's hurt now. And then Trevor Halver is just infield depth. And then same with Catalina, outfield depth. And Colin Hall will be up if there's an injury. Drew Bowser, of course, is a first-round pick from 2020 in the supplemental round. And he got a shot up in the majors because of injuries to start the year in a utility role, and he was fine. He had a 78 OPS plus, 87 runs created plus. So that's fine as a utility guy. It wasn't great. So when I got healthy, I sent him down. He's going to play some right field. I'm going to have him play some left field, so then he can have 5 positions he can play, and he'll be even more versatile for me moving forward. He's not, actually, he's only unhappy about his performance, but his role on team, he's fine with being in the minors, but obviously prefer to be up. And I think if I have an injury, he'll clearly be up, but I would like him to work on his outfield playing time just to become more versatile. And just to look at the standings real quick, I actually didn't look at this before I started, so let's see what's going on here. So we got the Rays, so nobody's playing like crazy good baseball. I mean, the Pirates are at 648 winning percentage, 35-19, but nobody's playing like 750 ball. And the expanded standings, as you can see, our run differential is +1, and we're 500, so we're about where we should be. Atrocious on the road at 11-18. Pretty good in 1-run games at 9-5, extra innings 3-3. So I don't know. Need the starting pitching to be much better because this team is better than this. And I knew this was a bit of a transition year with some young guys making the leap, but that was mainly on offense, and they've been good. I need my pitchers to step up, and I probably need to trade for one. Anyways, that's the end of this update. Talk to you next time.